Hi, my name's Meagan Cross. I'm here to explain the importance of the Global Angelman Syndrome Registry, what it is and how you can take part. The Global Registry is an online tool collecting data on individuals with Angelman syndrome from around the world, and that data is broken down into modules. On the screen here, each dot point represents a module, and this particular collection of module is what we refer to as the initial visit or the baseline data. What we then want to do is we want to collect information over time on each individual with Angelman syndrome, and that you might hear referred to as longitudinal. So on your second visit to the patient registry, you'll complete some of the modules you've already completed before, such as illnesses, medical problems, communication, behaviour development and sleep. And then you can see on the far right, these things that you can complete at any time when there's been a change in seizure activity, a new hospitalisation, or a changed medication. The data that we collect can be accessed for research, publications, and clinical trials through a data curator, an application made to the data curator based in Brisbane, Australia. A great quote that I got off our website that can explain why we need it is from PTC Therapeutics. It's a tool providing comprehensive global insight to researchers, physicians, and companies to further understand AS and inform clinical trials. It's important that families participate to ensure that this information is readily available. And we know information is power, and the greater numbers, the greater power. We estimate that there's over 500,000 individuals around the world affected by Angelman syndrome, yet we don't know where they all are. So the beauty of an online registry is anyone can join and enter their data to be effectively counted. And together we can attract more interest for research, more clinical trials, and achieve the outcomes that we're looking for our children. The key to effective treatments is understanding different phenotypes or symptoms of Angelman syndrome and genotypes being the causes. So this graphic is an illustration of the different genotypes we have collected in the patient registry. You can see it's fairly representative of the literature that's around at the moment. Then we look at symptoms. We've got the more common symptoms of Angelman syndrome that we report, as you might anticipate. 74% of individuals over 3 experience seizures. 80%, and this is across all age groups, experience nocturnal waking or waking at night. And over 60% of them describe that as not being able to resettle easily. 83% of individuals experience constipation, and 40% of those report that as being most or all of the time. And then we look at less common symptoms, such as challenging behaviour around food seeking. 28% experience that, but it's significant behaviours. And then on the opposite end of the scale, we have failure to thrive at 30%. And then why do some individuals with failure to thrive go on to exhibit food seeking behaviours? Well, the more information we have, the better we can understand these types of things. We can also answer more research questions and develop trials and publications around things like interventions, the use of adaptive equipment, AAC for communication. Does it mean the earlier that we access AAC, the better communication outcomes that we see? What type of medications are used for seizures and behaviours? And which of them have adverse reactions? We can look at aging across the lifespan. We can look at things like scoliosis, non-epileptic myoclonus, and the loss of the ability to walk. Understanding the population is much easier with patient data, and of course, the more we have, the better we're able to understand. We want to illustrate that we have a large enough population to invest in Angelman syndrome to further clinical trials and research, and for governments to fund interventions when they come on board. We want to illustrate where populations have been mobilised, where we have the ability to contact big numbers of patients in certain areas. We want to be able to increase the chances for clinical trial success by creating subsets of individuals that mean the trial is more likely to be successful. And in the future, that we might be able to treat different groups of Angelman syndrome differently. So we can use a patient registry to help understand those groups. If you're lucky enough to live near a clinic or a natural history study, you should participate in both. We're talking about the patient registry here being caregiver reported data, and the clinic data is under the expert eye of a clinician. What clinicians can also do that parents can't report online is that they can undertake assessments that have to be done in that clinic setting. And they're really important for outcome measures, and they would be used again in clinical trials. So it's important to report what you see at home. You can go in and do that at any time, but also to be part of natural history studies and clinics to get that holistic view of what Angelman syndrome looks like. As we record now, we've got 1,632 individuals in the patient registry from 77 different countries. And this map indicates the density of those participants. So we've got 60% in the Americas and 24% in Europe. But then when you go and look at the expected incidence of Angelman syndrome, you can see that's a very different picture. And that's because a lot of the English-speaking world is a lower density population. So we've got a big population in India and Asia and Africa. And what we need to be able to do is branch out to these countries through partnerships with patient organisations to help understand their population and more translations. So this is where I want to thank the people who put tremendous amount of man hours into translating versions of the patient registry. This has been a 2-year effort. It's been a very lengthy process with 13,000 words in each language group. And it's not always as easy as it sounds to translate from English to another language. We are hopeful that around the time of the gala and symposium, we're able to release Spanish and traditional Chinese. They're the closest ones to being finished, with Italian, simplified Chinese, French, Portuguese and Hebrew very close behind. So thank you so much to everyone who's given their time for this. If you're watching from a patient organisation around the world and you're able to help us with partnership or translations, please contact us at the website at the top of your screen. So it's always been the vision of FAST Australia that this project belongs to everyone, and it's available to anyone who wants to further understanding about Angelman syndrome. It's been a very evolving project. It's been a learning project. When we started this, there wasn't a lot of patient registries that were done online and caregiver initiated. So some things that you will see in the future are changes to the way you consent. So you control who gets to use your data through these consents. And soon we'll be having a video e-consent that you can get on and better understand what you've consented to online. And one of the most important ones there is you can opt out at any time and have your data removed. This is the kicker. It will take you about 2 hours to complete this registry. What we've done here is we've broken down the different modules into an anticipated amount of time. Some of them are quite quick. You can go in and enter information on these modules one at a time and just kick off ones that you've got the time for. If you've got 10 minutes, jump into epilepsy. If you've got a longer period of time, behaviour and development. But we really do know that this is a big investment of your time, and we know that's valuable. So what we're doing now is we're offering you a choice for a reimbursement of your time in the form of a gift voucher, or you can decide to donate that back to the sustainability of the project. And we're going to offer that to people who've already completed their registry entries, but they have to be at least 75% complete to be eligible. Thank you very much. You can join the project if you haven't already at the web address at the top of your screen. If you've got any questions, you can email us at curator@angelmanregistry.info, and please join our Facebook page where we post regular statistics and information about how to complete certain modules. Thank you.